Hey everybody, good afternoon, and welcome to the Bold Inventor Show. I'm JD Hoovener, partnered up with Matt Colseth.
Ahoy.
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right, we're into it. Feels like
kids
fall.
Back to school.
Kids in school?
Kids
Shifting gears?
They went back to school yesterday.
Oh, good. Everybody go back?
Very quiet here today.
Yeah, that's nice.
Right.
You kind of just, get back to work. I think everybody's kind of rolling up their sleeves last 4 months of the year, getting down to business. Very good. I just saw that email. We're working with a client. You're working on the trademark side, and it doesn't always happen this way, but they mentioned, hey, maybe this is patentable, and you were able to take care of them as well. So sometimes they come in first on the trademark, trying to protect the brand, and help them out with their potentially patentable design or functional utility. It's a nice 1-2 punch working on federal only law here at Bold Patents. For those that are new or haven't seen this before, I'm a patent attorney. He's a trademark attorney, and we're going to be talking about intellectual property, the whole show here, focusing on patents, inventor stories, and as the title suggests, we'll be interviewing Geoffrey Harrison and his multi-screen menu. He's waiting backstage. So I welcome any live participants to ask questions throughout the show. Just don't disclose anything confidential. This is not an attorney-client privilege discussion. We are live across Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And gosh, without further ado, I guess we could get to our preloaded questions that came in over the week.
Maybe a little to do. I gotta ask, man, how was Vegas? Because you are red.
Red? Man, it could be the lighting.
Maybe it's the lighting. Your neck looks red.
Oh man, yeah, I have been outside.
You know what? I look red too, and I'm not burned either. So
no, So what I did, I built it's like a walkway, a wooden walkway in our front, and I've done decks before, so I know a thing or two, and so I was able to whip that thing out, almost get it done on Saturday, stained it on Sunday, so it looks really good. I'll send you a photo. Yeah, definitely been spending some time outside for sure.
Looks good.
So, yeah, thanks.
All right. Questions?
Let's do it. So we had 3 come in over the week, and we've got a bunch that we hadn't even got to. Well, let's do the new ones in case, by chance they're out there listening. This is about a fishing lure patent. This is our Reddit channel here. I haven't read this question before, so let's just jump right in. Okay. I am planning on starting a small online store selling some fishing lures that I make. And one of them is a rebuilt version of a popular lure called the Blue Fox Vibrax Spinner. The Blue Fox. This design has a patent on it, but from what I can tell, it is since expired. Okay, it looks like, 4 million. We can take a look. What I do is take older, beat up ones so they don't work anymore and repaint them and replace some parts and make them look new and work better, since I use better quality components. Does this infringe on the patent at all? Or will they hunt me down and sink me into the river? Thank you. Wow, that's a really good question. I think it is unfortunate that it's not readily known how to find out if a patent is expired or not. Right. And it really should say very clearly, if you go into Google Patents, on the front of the patent, if it were possible, I'd love for it to say, this patent expires on, and it gets close. What they do have is when it was issued. And you got to go talk to the patent attorney if you don't know the laws, go look it up. For utility patents, which I believe this is one, it's 20 years from the date of filing. So you can go take a look, and we'll pull it up. I think it'll be a good example to show 338. But being a 4 million number, I bet this is like 1990s. That's just my hunch. So let me share screen. We'll jump into Google Patents.
It's kind of funny for those listening at home how like us as attorneys get used to these numbers that mean nothing to you, but then we kind of know what the number means. Like, oh, that's an old one, or that's an application number, not a registration number.
Yeah, just Google Patent.
Yeah,
4163338. Artificial fishing lure. So it is a utility patent. Oh, this is 70s. I was way off. Okay. Rest assured, this is expired, my friend. Let me see if I can zoom in a tad. This thing's still selling in the store. They did great. So this was first filed back in 1978. 20 years is all you get. So the owner of this, their rights expired just before, I guess it would have been 1998. So you can see the assignee, the owner, Vibrex. So this is fully open to the public. That is the whole point of the patent system, in fact, to give this knowledge to the world. People like you that want to go do better, do good, use what they came up with for your own commercial or non-commercial purposes. Answer your question about infringement. Cannot infringe unless there is a patent. So no, you will not be infringing.
Let's just say, for example, they have a trademark
Okay.
on that lure.
Yeah.
And our friend is restoring these and reselling them. Can he do that? Or what if he has to repaint the logo on them and he's reselling them?
Oh, Matt. So, okay. Now we could be going, this is great.
Yeah, this is
good. This is really good. So let's take one more look at that thing, and maybe we could take 5 minutes. I don't want our guests to wait too long, but I love that.
I'm curious, like what you'd have to do as a reseller or restorer of these lures to get, Rapala or whoever, to come after you for messing with their stuff, right?
Well, that's a trademark question, right? So let's say they have the logo emblazoned on this thing. I think you would have to, if you're going to sell them for commercial gain, and on the masses, and not just talking hobby, selling to your buddies, but if you're going to put an online store up, you bet you got to take off. You have to de-label so there's no trademarks. Now, my question for you, though, Matt, let's say there were a trade dress on a lure, something like where you've got these two oval flaps, and now trade dress, trademark protection could persist.
Yeah, it could. It really could. Now that wouldn't stop him from reselling, previously made lures, because obviously, second sale, first sale doctrine, that kind of stuff. So he can resell these all he wants. But yeah, I mean, if he was making his own, like an actual replica, he could do that, except if there was a design mark, right? Or
trade dress,
right?
Trade dress, yeah.
That'd be really hard though on a functional lure though, right? Because everything is going to have to be for, attraction purposes. Nothing's going to be for aesthetic purposes for us humans, right? Or the fish.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think a lure has to be like almost by definition, like functional, right?
Yeah. Well, so yeah, exactly. Trade dress. I've not filed one. You've done a few, right?
Yeah, they're terrible. USPTO does not want anything to do with them, right? And they push back hard on trade dress applications.
Yeah. No, on the design patent side, it is non-functional, meaning only the aesthetics, just the three-dimensional shape of the object can be protected. But in this case, it's long since been disclosed, and it's past that time for design protection, for any patent protection for that matter. So I think you're in the clear, but if you want to be doubly sure, reach out to Matt, reach out to us here. We can go double check on that brand, the owner, and see if there's any type of trademark issue if you're looking to really go big and sell these to the masses. That sound good?
Yeah, generally speaking, I'd say he's probably just fine doing what he's doing.
Let's take one more question here and we'll get to our guest. This is and again, if we have any live folks out there have any questions, this is your time to put in that question for us. We'll take this one and we'll do yours next. So is it a violation, trademark violation, if I have a minor character inspired by someone to the point of using their name?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Minor character. Yeah.
So like if they have a minor character in a book and the inspiration, the name for that person is another actual human being, can't really have a trademark registration on you can on your name, but I mean you wouldn't be able to violate it by referencing a fictional character in a book with the same name. That wouldn't be a trademark issue or trademark violation issue.
There we go.
It'd be more of a copyright issue, if anything else. If like the person or the character you're referencing is an actual character, like from another series of stories or whatever, and you're referencing and bringing them into your universe, that could be a potential copyright violation. You can't take other people's characters and bring them into your own stories without permission.
My mind went to copyright on this, right? I mean, any character. I mean, you think of any Disney, minor character, let's say Sneezy, from Snow White. You're not going to be able to put Sneezy, in all of its depiction and artistic work into anything for commercial purposes. But trademark is different, and you're thinking, it'd be pretty tough to be infringing trademark with a character.
Yeah, it really would be. I would be, generally these big companies with a lot of IP, like Disney and stuff like that, when they're going after folks, they're going to pursue the copyright approach, right? It's more nebulous, it's broader, it's easier for them to say that we own, X amount of copyrights, and enforce the trademark or enforce the copyright that way.
Sounds good. All right, Matt, it's guest time. Let's bring on Geoff Harrison to the Bold Inventor Show. Welcome.
Hi guys, welcome from Amsterdam in Europe.
Hey, Geoff. It's probably getting close to dinner time out there.
Yeah, it's about 9:10 on a Wednesday evening here, so it's fine, no problem.
I appreciate you joining late. I'd love to get a little background on you for those that haven't heard of you or multi-screen menu. And I know you're quite the entrepreneur. You're not just doing this project, but let's maybe take us to what the very beginning of what the multi-screen menu, how this first came about.
Yeah, well, it goes back to 1996. I had a career in professional radio as an announcer, journalist, radio station owner back in the 80s and early 90s. And I was actually covering, as a journalist, the 1994 Winter Olympics in Norway. And that's where I got first introduced to the internet, because the Olympics in Norway, in Lillehammer, had something called an intranet, and we really hadn't seen this much in the early 90s as journalists. And I got there to the Olympics, and they said, "Oh, here is your all your accreditation badges and all this thing for the Olympics. And by the way, here is your email address." And we all said, "What the heck is an email? I mean, what does it mean?" They said, "Oh, you can actually use this to chat with other people, other journalists, or anyone in the Olympic family attending those games, and you can leave messages for each other and also all sorts of things." So that was, and I still remember my first ever email, which was 94olympics.org/Geoffrey.Harrison. I remember it vividly, and it was incredible because it was a real mind bender that you could actually instantly contact with all these people. And I kept my email address after the games. And of course, from 94 onwards, it really exploded into, email that we have today. And it was a really fun thing back then, and everyone was really into it. But come 96, I decided to go back to school because I left school physically when I was 16 to work in radio as originally a tech guy. I was like a what we used to call a cart monkey, where you transfer audio onto tapes and things, all that sort of thing. And I decided in 96, well, I was living with a really nice lady in Melbourne, and she was an art teacher about to do her master's degree in fine art. And I said, well, I'd love to have gone to university. And she said, well, you can't, Geoff, you can't go to university because you don't even have a leaving certificate. You don't even have a high school certificate. And I said, and I looked at her, outline, and in there was communications degree, postgraduate, which you really have to have a bachelor's to get into postgraduate. And it said there, you must have all these qualifications or equivalent industry experience. And by that time, I'd already been working in radio for nearly, 17 or 18 years by that time. And I applied, and I got straight into the postgraduate degree, and ended up teaching a few classes there too, because
that's the cheapest way to get a post. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Don't go to university in the first place.
Exactly. That's right. And just
wait, I was in school for 7 years for nothing, Matt. This is
pretty much,
if you just practiced, patent law on the side.
Right.
Yeah. Well, my girlfriend was very upset. She was furious. She's saying, "I did all this work and you just sailed straight into postgraduate." Anyway, I did 2 years of that, and one of my we had a course called Future of Communications, and one of my papers was on something called a multi-screen menu. because back in 1996, I envisioned or thought of the future where people would have access to screens where you could touch screens where you could access, your household stuff and your personal stuff and your stuff for your pet and your stuff for your car and all that kind of stuff. And by the time 2023 came around,
Hold on, time out, Jeff.
Go on. Yeah.
So how did you know about touch screens in 96?
I took a wild guess.
You really did?
Yeah.
So you knew there was no such thing, but you thought it might be possible in the future.
Well, one of my favorite movies is 2001: A Space Odyssey. So, yeah, and I looked at that and I thought, surely by the year 2000 we're going to have this stuff. It's going to be everywhere.
Pretty close.
Okay.
Pretty close.
Yeah. And so I wrote this paper, which I still have, and I ended up getting a high distinction for my degree and all that kind of stuff. So I've got what's called a graduate diploma, which is one step lower than master's. And I did half my master's as well, but I got too busy with work. So I sat on this and waited. And come 2023, I was visiting a friend of mine, ski buddy of mine, Luc Cristina, in Geneva. And he had some equipment at his house I was picking up. And I just mentioned this to him. And he said, hey, this sounds like a great idea. Why hasn't anyone done this? I said, well, he said, I'll help you do it if you like. I'll provide you with an office and all that kind of stuff. And we sat down and we roughed the whole thing out on paper. And I still have a picture of the paper, the boxes on paper, like a very rough diagram. And I ended up with him. We contacted a code writer who'd already written 500 successful apps in Pakistan, in Lahore, because they're the experts. These guys, they know what the hell they're doing. And he said, "Oh, I have never seen anything like this." So we got him to write all the code for us, and then we went into the testing phase on Play Store. We attacked Play Store first with Android because it's a bigger market, believe it or not, than App Store.
This is early 2000s or 2006?
No, this was 2023. Okay. I've only had this thing up and running for 2 years.
Okay.
Got it.
So so we built the app. It took about 6 months to build the app, and then and may I say to you people out there who are thinking of building an app and submitting an app to either Play Store or App Store, it is not an easy process. And last year alone, in 2024, 2.8 million apps were rejected by Play Store. So that's 2.8 million people who had hopes and dreams and actually built the apps. And to get through the process is quite difficult because, number one, you have to have an app that is unlike any other app. It has to be really original. Number two, you have to go through a full-on testing program with 20 testers over a period of about 6 to 8 weeks. And these have to be professional testers. It just can't be anybody. They have to have people who are qualified testers, and they have to check the app for bugs and viruses and all sorts of things. And then they put their reports back into Play Store, and then Play Store finally decide if you are going to have an active app or not. And to get through that process is quite difficult, and it's very stressful too, because you put in all the money to create the app, pay your code writer, come up with the original idea. You have to go through a lot of stress, and you could fall over at the last moment, and that is very, very stressful. But basically we got through the process. It's published now on Play Store, which is good, because when you have an app published on Play Store, it's gone through a whole lot of checks and balances, and Play Store knows it's safe, and more importantly, they are rejecting a lot of frivolous apps these days, because they want apps that do something and actually do a purpose, and my app actually does that. It actually is a very useful app. Yes.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, I think, but what is the multi-screen menu, and what is? I know we have the 1 minute explainer, but perhaps you could speak to that in words, and then we could put the link in there for the explainer video.
Sure. Well, multi-screen menu is basically a mobile filing cabinet on your phone for all your paperwork. So people in the world have a huge amount of paperwork these days, and builds up and piles up and gets shoved into filing cabinets. And your important things that you need should be stored for instant recall on an app like multi-screen menu, especially if you are traveling. I travel all around the world. Here was the 1 minute. I don't know whether we have audio for that, but basically it's a very simple interface. The 18 boxes cover everything in your life.
I don't know. Have you made this mistake?
I don't know whether you have sound or what, but
yeah, I don't think we're getting sound
all the time.
Yeah, this is an ad, I think. Oh yeah. Oh, this is an interview I did at NAB in Las Vegas 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. But without the sound, I can talk over it. But basically, there's 18 categories and boxes, and the categories cover everything.
ID and much more. Super easy to use. Store your important documents.
The sound isn't that great. Yeah. Sorry, I've lost your audio, guys.
No worries. Yeah, sorry. I was just
there
trying
you
to eliminate some noise. But yeah,
okay.
So if you could just go ahead and explain it best you can.
Yeah, but basically the app is 18 different boxes on one screen. And say you've got a pet, you can just go to the pet section and you can just scan in all of your documents for your pet. You can scan it for your car. You can scan your travel documents. You can put in everything for your household. You can put recipes. The 18 boxes basically cover everything that a person in a normal life will have to store and organize, basically. And the great thing is that you can create your own boxes as well. You can say, this is just a box for my trip, or a box for a project, or a box for a house you're moving into, or whatever. So the app is very, very powerful and unlimited. And it was really useful for me when I travel, because often I have temporary day visas to stop in countries like Sri Lanka and things on my way to Australia from Europe. And they want to see, your document that you've pre-applied for, to say, yeah, I can stay in this country for a day or two in transit. Now, at the gate, a lot of people, when they're asked for that, I have to find that in my emails. I have to go into my email on my phone and search through thousands of emails. And I'm sure we've all been in that situation before, and you're rushing to get it, and you've got a huge queue behind you. With multi-screen menu, it's just 2 taps. You just open the app and tap travel and go to where it is sitting there, and it's bang, so much quicker. And the guy who was behind the counter in Sri Lanka said, wow, you got to that really fast, because a lot of people stand here for 5 minutes, trying to get through all of their documents, trying to find the right one, and they got to do searches. Whereas if you preload this before you even leave, you know exactly where it is. It makes things very, very seamless. And the other thing is for natural disasters, because we all have documents such as insurance documents and things like that, when natural disasters happen. And in Australia, we have a lot of natural disasters. We have bushfires, we have cyclones, we have tornadoes, we have all that sort of thing. And it's really great to preload all of your important documents onto the app. And when the time comes that you've got to leave your house, you can just grab your phone, because a lot of people have actually died in their houses trying to collect paperwork. And that's the last time you want to be doing that. Right. If you've got it all pre-stored, you can just say, right, I don't have to worry about any of this stuff. My house might blow away or it might burn down, but I've got all the important things on this app just in my hand, and I can get it. So it's a very useful thing for that. Yes, very useful. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, certainly there may be still some shred of some part of the law where maybe, a hard copy, wet original is required. But my goodness, there's so few now, I think becoming fewer and fewer, or that, hard copy is truly needed. And I think my mind goes to travel. Like you said, it's huge. I struggle so much. And my wife, she kicks butt for me. She has all this stuff ready to go. If I did them on my own, I would love a solution like this, especially an offline version, right? Where it doesn't require me to be on the internet, because you can sometimes get stuck with super slow or no service 100%. And you need stuff.
Lots of places in the United States, you don't have internet. They don't have access.
Well, we've thought of that. We've actually addressed that problem, and with the multi-screen menu, it remembers the last the last time you're on the internet, and you can go offline and get all your stuff. So
very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's simple. It fits that niche. I mean, of course, there's all kinds of, cloud storage services out there, but it's the simple and organized buckets.
Yeah, that's what they are.
Cross different types of documents, different types of, PNG files, pictures, images or docs. I was just pulled over, actually. I'll say that on live, and I was struggling. So I handed over my insurance. He's like, "This is expired." I'm like, "Oh shoot!" He's like, "Can I pull up my phone?"
They're always expired.
It's like,
Always.
come on. I know it's like only 6 months, right? So I was like going through my email frantically. I mean, trying not to freak out, but thank goodness I found it. But it did take me a few minutes, and it felt like an hour. I would love to have something like what you're offering with MSM. So I see the value. So how is it done on the App Store? What are some of the results since it's been launched?
Well, the Play Store, we've had now, this is another thing about an app that people have to understand. Just because you publish an app on the Play Store or the App Store, you are a drop in the ocean of, say, 20 million apps, right? Sure. It's like trying to, I talk about it like a drop in, let's say, the Pacific Ocean, right? You are one drop in the Pacific Ocean, right? That is it. The world doesn't even know you exist, I mean, unless they're looking for you, unless they know you exist. And this is where the stage I'm at the moment, because I'm in the marketing stage now, and every app needs a whole marketing program. But my marketing is, believe it or not, I'm really not that interested in selling on the Play Store or the App Store. My whole focus here is to sell my app as a licensing deal to handset makers. So when you buy a phone, any phone in the world now comes with a bunch of preloaded apps. And most of them are games, Candy Crush, all that kind of stuff, right? So my focus is, my marketing push is to market to the 250 companies who make handsets. There's about 50 major ones. You're talking LG, Panasonic, Samsung, all that kind of stuff. And multi-screen menus aim within a year or so is to be embedded on phones at the point of purchase. So I would then get a shave of a cent, from each phone, because each phone manufacturer has a budget for each phone to pay for included apps that they feel are useful, or they can give them a marketing edge where they can say to people, if you go and buy a phone, or you're going to buy an Oppo, a Samsung, a LG, they want to push to you that, hey, if you buy our phone, you get X, 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 and X. And that's a big complaint with the iPhone. The iPhone these days is not including anything new. They may be doing a little design change or whatever, and people are saying, whoa, wow, I've got to buy a new iPhone 17. And that's going to cost me another $1,000, but it's all the same. There's no extras on there. It's just a different, and people are getting very upset with that sort of thing, saying, why am I being forced into this new thing that doesn't give me anything extra? So that is my focus now, is to market multi-screen menu and hopefully get a few good licensing deals, which mean I would be selling millions automatically before, not at the current rate, which is $10, but hey, if I'm selling 500,000 at a cent each, happy days,
Yeah,
it's much better that way.
Jeff, I guess from like a consumer standpoint, do you have a specific audience in mind who this is going to resonate with? I guess tell me about that. Who are you targeting? Is there a specific demographic?
Well, it's pretty wide. Our app is rated 3+ to whatever, to when you leave the planet, because our app is suitable for everyone who wants to organize their paperwork, and that's pretty much everybody. And we look at people like students moving out of home, and because we all know what it's like. You've been living at home for a while, you get your first job, or you go to college, or you get your first job. Suddenly you're in the big, wide, nasty world out there without mum and dad looking after you, and now you are overworked. Just your lease agreement could be 20 pages long, and the kids, they go and say, okay, I'm just going to sign that, forget about it. Well, you know, and then something happens with the house and they, where is that paperwork? I had it, you know, I can't find it now. It's buried. Now, so there's students, there's people like mums and dads running households, there's pet owners, there's car owners, there's travelers, there's crypto people, because we have a box for crypto, we have a box for AI, we got a box for virtually everything, really. So yeah, it's pretty wide.
What's inside a box? What are you going to see when you click it? I know we can't.
Okay, yeah. When you click a box, you got three options. You have on the left hand side links, which is all the so if you say your car, right? So you go to the car one. On the left hand side, there's a box called links, which gives you all of the latest top performing websites for cars.
Yep.
Okay. Same on the pet one. It gives it, you know, comes up pet.com, whatever. So you can jump there straight away.
Okay.
In the middle, there's the scan feature, which allows you to scan and take photographs of all your documents. And on the right-hand side, there's a box where you can add notes. So it's very, very simple. There's links, scan, notes. That's it. That is it. And a lot of the other solutions I looked into this had literally hundreds of options, and people don't have the time to go through all that stuff. You know, that's why multi-screen menu is a completely super simple solution where you only have 18 boxes. Each box has 3 options, and you can create your own box with still the 3 options, if you like.
Jeff, does the app allow me to search pictures? So if there's text and pictures or anything like that, is that a feature?
Oh yeah, you can search anything on the app, pictures,
so this thing is basically AI ready.
Yeah, and you can also make your own folders within the boxes. So if you've got, you know, 100 pictures of your kids and you just want to put them all together, so you're not looking, you can do that too. And you can share anything in the app directly with anybody, because there's a share button and a delete button on all the boxes. So you can delete folders, delete pictures, you can do whatever you like on there. So it's all pretty much ready to go. Yeah, I built this to be future proof. And the thing is that, you know, the simpler it is, the better. If you look at something like Google, it's super simple. That's it. You don't want hundreds of menus. It's like people inherently these days want simplicity and ease of use. And that's why I made it the way we did, to be like that. Very, very simple. And I've already had criticism. People say, oh, it's very, very simple. I say, yeah, well, that's the whole point. Thanks for the compliment. You know, really. I mean, if you get it, yeah, my 87-year-old mother uses this app for her paperwork. You know, that's what, and as people get older, they tend to get more forgetful. They get, and what we say to people is, look, when you get the app, just sit, and it's a 14-day free demo. So you don't even have to pay for it. And there's no obligation to pay for it after 14 days. You just can choose to pay your $10, and it's a $10 one-off fee. It's not recurring.
Yeah.
We may bring out a yearly one later, maybe a premium one later, but I believe this is also good for the planet, because a lot of paperwork around is just sitting there gathering dust and could be recycled. So there's a lot of old paperwork that people hang on to, boxes and boxes and boxes of it. And it's good to go through those boxes and say, right, what do I want to keep? I want to keep it. I want a record of it. Oh, and by the way, one more thing, and this is required by Play Store, all of the data is encrypted every single way. So I can't even see what, as the owner of the app, I can't even see what's on your thing, because all the data is encrypted in transit. So, you know, we've got very good protection. We've got the same level of protection as WhatsApp users on this app.
Very cool. My mind's going a couple different places. Matt said AI. I totally agree. I mean, I think there could be a future where you say, hey, here is all my iPhone's data. Please sort them into these buckets for me.
Yes, exactly.
My gosh. And that could be a great start. And of course, you may have to pick.
Oh, yeah.
But that'd be sweet to have these buckets. And I know my iPhone will sort of guess when I lump apps together. It'll guess at a title. It's horrible. You know, it doesn't always pick the right label. And I'm like, I don't even know what they are anymore. But I'd like to create them. And so it's pretty fun. I can see that. Huge benefit. Yeah. On top of that, my third idea was blockchain, right? Somehow verifying on the ledger when you scan something in terms of its originality and date marking, smart. In some way, some ability to, I don't know, just confirm that it was yours or.
Well, there's a system that is used by a number of other apps where you can get it's like a blue tick system, especially for things like licenses and motor vehicle stuff. And we are looking to talk to governments all around the world to say to them, look, we want to interface with you. So when people actually have this document on their phone, there is like a barcode or something on there which tells the police officer, this is the real thing. It's real. It's not a copy of them, made up or whatever without that barcode, which is really cool. And that's really great, because then the police officer knows that, this is the person's actual documents and not just a copy or an adjusted copy.
So, Jeff, this is the Bold Inventor Show. Do you mind if we talk about patents a little bit?
Sure.
Maybe one particular. Do you have a portfolio protecting this in terms of patent protection?
We've looked into that, and apps are quite difficult to patent because you're using, for instance, we built this app with open source software from, other people. I will be shortly getting into the patent side of things. And I've spoken to a couple of patent attorneys and said, look, just having it on the Play Store is pretty much protected, because if anybody goes to Play Store and tries to put up an app that is pretty similar or a copy, it automatically gets rejected. We have copyright all over our everything from the beginning. We've published our copyright on our and I'm yet to go into that, and I want to talk to you guys about this, about how to do this to protect it properly. But it is quite difficult to patent an app, because an app is simply a collection of code which is brought in from other people. But I might be able to patent the whole thing. But hey, let's talk and see what we can do.
Yeah, certainly. I think it'd be great to talk in confidence and in much more detail, but I will speak to, protecting software, right, and apps. And so in general, they are protectable, but they really are difficult to achieve, the claim that you want. Software is protected under a process or a method, a number of steps. And it's not actually the code. The code itself, you can code that process a million different ways. And so the code itself is actually probably kept as a trade secret. And if you wanted to license it, perhaps in a space where you could actually get that under copyright, right, as a work of art. That's one way to write the story. But the actual process could be protected under patent law if it's unique, if it's novel. And if
it is totally novel,
So I think it's worthy of a consultation. Here with one of our attorneys, probably have you talk with Troy on our team. I'd love to help you think about that. I know one thing, not just for your case, but for many others, that is an important point, is disclosure, right? So when you publicly disclose an invention, you have only up to 1 year in the US. There's a grace period of just a year from when it's first publicly shown to when it must be filed. Otherwise, it can be invalidated. So we can talk through that, of course, on your own specific case in confidence, but it's an important timing consideration for a lot of inventors.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. I'm also in the process of inviting outside investors as well, and I have a pitch deck that I can send off to you if you have any other people as well, because we don't need a lot of money. We've actually gone through the whole process of building it and publishing it, and we are just after marketing budget now to hit the 250 phone makers basically. And then when if I get a couple of good contracts on licensing, then the money income is not really an issue. But it's always an issue with inventors like myself and creators, because there's only so much you can do as a single person, to get everything done yourself, because everything is quite expensive to do. And I know it's very difficult these days to get investment too, but I'm open to talk to anyone who might be interested in helping us with this to move forward as well. So
fantastic. And to that end, perhaps would you open to me sharing your email address?
Oh, absolutely. And I do have a pitch deck that I can forward to you guys too. And it's very structured, and it's the same pitch deck actually that Airbnb used. It's along the same lines as their pitch deck. It's very simple, and it's very and I mean, it's open to anyone who wants to have.
Go ahead with your email address. I can put it right here in the link, and it'll be here in the comments.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Do I join the chat there?
I can type it. Or yeah, if you want to type in, go for it.
Yeah, join the chat. I just have to connect my YouTube account. Is that the way I do it?
You can just tell me, and I can type it.
Oh yeah, it's World TV International.
Okay.
@ gmail.com.
There we go. Let's plug it in. Excellent. And this is a good time for anyone out there. I see we have a couple live viewers. If you want to, feel free to ask questions. We're on for another few minutes here.
Sure.
And you can contact Jeff at worldtvinternational@gmail.com.
Or via our website, which is multiscreenmenu.com. Which is another great one too. And that gives all the background, and it gives all the frequently asked questions, and all that sort of thing is really cool. So, yeah.
So I saw you mention the Google Play Store. You didn't mention necessarily the Apple Store.
No.
Is there a reason why?
Well, we've actually written the code for the App Store.
Okay.
The whole thing is in Apple format, but we are now in the queue to be considered by the Play Store. And it's a lot longer process to get onto the App Store than it is onto the Play Store. The Play Store is still a good 6 months, but you can be waiting a good 2 years at the moment just to get considered by the App Store. I mean, they have so many millions and millions and millions of people. What the other alternative, what we can do is we can actually put I haven't done it yet, but we can put the app version, the App Store version, onto our website, and people can actually take it, because you don't have to be on the App Store to sell an app in the iOS version. You can actually sell it. I can give it to you or sell it to you just as a piece of code, protected code, which you can install on your phone. However, most people don't want to do that, because the app, like I say, the Play Store and the App Store have very rigorous protection. And we prefer to do it that way, to go through it properly, than just give out the thing, which can then be copied, and there's a lot of issues there.
Sure.
But it's just a patience game. I mean, I'm in this for the long term. I'm not in any rush. And in the meantime, I can get my feedback. The feedback we've been getting from our Play Store customers is absolutely fantastic. It's 100 out of 100.
That's great.
And quite a few of them have ideas as well that they are giving to us that we are acting on too, to improve the app. In Australia, we have a federal emergency services minister called Senator Murray Watt, and we're promoting it to, or pitching it to him, to have this app actually given away to people like on low incomes or whatever, so they can protect their. I don't mind that at all. And what would be really great if the government said, "Hey, we'll pay you for this. We will license this from you, maybe at a reduced rate or something, where they can make it freely available for low-income people to protect themselves and that sort of thing."
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like your long-term vision is to, as you said, get this into the device makers, the actual
Exactly. Yeah, that's where it's at.
Have it be part of the core package of the way to organize the information and data on your phone. I didn't know there were that many makers. I was like, I've only owned iPhones. I'm sure I'm not alone. I mean, I've owned them for over 10 years now, but you said there's 55 manufacturers. No,
there's actually, in the world, there's actually 250, but there's 50 majors. Okay. And one of the problems with the majors, if you're looking at Samsung, and I'm about to delve into AI, I've got a company in Rotterdam who's going to help me with this. if you look at a company like Samsung, they've got like 100,000 employees.
Sure.
I mean, who do you talk to about this? You know, I mean, you could spend years just trying to find the right person to actually even look at it, you know. But there's a lot of things coming up with AI now where I can say, okay, I want to dive into LinkedIn or similar platform. I need someone from Samsung who can make a decision on this thing, blah, blah, blah. And it will search everything and come up with maybe 10 people who could tick all your boxes. But AI is tremendous for that, because it really, you know, the programs they're making in AI at the moment are tremendous for people like us, because we don't have to wade through all these people who, you know.
Yes, it simplifies the ever-growing amount of data that AI can produce. And so I think you nailed it with a simple tool that's, you know, a good go-to. Certainly a huge mountain for you to climb, you know, going after those big number one, number two device makers.
Definitely.
Have you considered going after the, you know, that 249th or 250th?
Oh yeah, that's great. Look, I'm
getting some early adoption there.
Well, actually, I'm looking at them to say to them, here is an edge you can have over the big boys. You know, you can put this on your phone. Like I personally, I'm not a rich guy because I've spent all of, you know, most of my money on making things. But I bought an Oppo phone, which is Oppo. They sell like 500 million phones, you know, but they're a small player. They're not one of the big players. They're not Samsung. They're not you know, Apple, but they're still powerful, forceful phone maker. And so yeah, I'm after all those too, and that's what I'm raising this, you know, and I mean the raise we're doing is minuscule compared to normal raises, because we're raising a couple of 100,000. We're not raising millions here. We're not after, because we want to keep it lean. We don't want to, and we don't want to have to burn through people's investment monies. It's going to be extremely focused and extremely, you know, targeted of what we spend the investors' money on, and that's very important to us as well, to make sure that we spend the money in the right way. And with AI and all that sort of thing, it's very doable these days, because you can really focus down rather than scattergunning and hoping for the best, which was in the past, really, you know.
Fantastic. I've actually got a client of mine I'm going to reach out to and hopefully introduce you to. They are a phone maker.
Great.
Phone type. Matt, maybe you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'll make that connection. It could be really fruitful.
Oh, it'd be great. Yeah.
So throughout the show, you've mentioned we. So maybe talk about who is helping you on this journey, Jeff, or is it the royal we?
Yeah. Well, my team is myself as the number one inventor, but then I have Luc Cristina in Geneva, who is our, you know, he's the guy who really helped me to get this off the ground, and he's a really cluey guy. He's on the FIS committee, because I'm into ski stuff as well. He's on the committee of the speed skiing that you see, you know, those crazy dudes who go straight down at 300 kilometers an hour. He's on the committee for FIS. You know, he's based in Switzerland and has a pretty glamorous life. And then I have the fantastic Hamza Khan, who is in Pakistan, who is our code writer. I have one minor investor who's just put a few thousand in for me to help me out, and here in Amsterdam, but pretty much that's it. We are a small, lean team, and I also have an accountant here in Amsterdam, Ron de Jong, who is one of Amsterdam's top accountants, and he's on board, ready to go. We're going to set up either an LLC or a KVK in the Netherlands, because the Netherlands is a very good place to be, because we have a low tax structure here in the Netherlands. And I'm a Dutch resident as well. So as well as a British citizen, Dutch resident and Australian resident. So I have very good permissions to work all around the world on this project. So
that's great. One thing I remember from Netherlands when I traveled there about 10 years ago is I felt like they spoke better English than I did.
Well, it's difficult to learn Dutch because everyone here in Amsterdam automatically drops into English, and they are excellent.
Yeah, that's where I visited. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, and Dutch is a very difficult language to learn in the first place. I mean, I've been here 24 years, and I go back and forward from here to America to Australia, and the more you try and learn Dutch, the more the Dutch ask you not to speak it, because they just know you're not from here, and to them it's extremely painful to listen to somebody who's not Dutch trying to speak Dutch. So don't feel bad about not speaking Dutch at all, because they prefer that you didn't.
Yeah, I spent like 6 years learning German. Went to Germany, like, I'm going to speak German, right?
Yeah.
Nah, they speak English to you.
No,
They want to speak English. I don't care how good you are. They will speak German to you.
Oh, they will be judging your accent, and quite frankly, in the Netherlands here, we have like 14 different provinces, and some of them can't even understand each other. So why bother? You know, I mean, it's crazy.
Okay. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for sharing your story. I've got your email address up there for anyone who wants to follow up with you. Jonathan, one of our trusty followers, appreciates the Dutch and says, "Good luck, Geoffrey."
Thank you, Val. Thank you, Val, Jonathan, and hoe gaat het goed? And it's very nice. Yeah, it's crazy language.
I used to live in South Africa with my wife, and a lot of Afrikaners down there, Afrikaans, a lot of Dutch.
And that's all Dutch based too. Yeah, that's right.
It is a guttural language, to say the least.
That's right. Yeah. Don't bother. I actually lived in Sweden for 8 years, and I speak fluent Swedish because they actually like you speaking it, you know. And like you learning it, but not in the Netherlands. No, I wouldn't bother. Just yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up our show. Matt, for myself, Matt, and Jeff, wishing you guys a great week. We'll see you next week,
guys.
12 o'clock. Go big, go bold.